Hello, this is Russel Smith with Grow It Now Garden Products. I'm here with you today on this wonderful fall season. And the question that we all have to face at the end of the season is, what do I do with my green tomatoes when I start getting the first signs of frost that are killing off my plant? If your tomatoes get hit hard with a freeze, they're going to turn to mush and you're not going to be able to do anything with them. So what do I do with them? Here on this tomato plant, we've got a couple of reds. I've been harvesting them this last season, and so there's only a few reds on the plant. I've got a couple that are yellow, and then I've got these deep, vibrant green tomatoes. And so the question here is, well, what do I do with the plant? What do I do with the tomatoes? I don't want them to go to waste. I'd like to use them, I'd like to eat them. So the first thing, if they have yellow or they're showing signs of yellow, as you can see here, you can pick those, and we'll show you later on in the video how you can ripen those. But the deep green ones like this, they're actually not going to ripen. They're going to stay green until they get moldy or rot or whatever. And so we'll show you some other options that you have on what you can do with your green tomatoes. So in this case, we'll come in, we'll pick these yellow ones, yellowish with the tints of yellow, and we will ripen those. So let's do that right now. Okay, so I've picked the more yellow ones. These are just a sampling. I'm going to go through and pick them all off and separate the yellow versus the green. Now there's a couple ways to ripen the ones that are yellow. You can stick them in a brown paper bag, close the top, or you can stick them in a cardboard box. Now here's the thing about it, don't put it in any extreme. Don't put it in too much sunlight or no sunlight at all. So one good place is in the garage. You can put it in the garage somewhere, up on a table or something. But when you stack it in, make sure you don't stack them on top of each other, because as they ripen, you don't want them to bruise. And then as you're ripening them, make sure you watch for moldy ones or rotting ones, because if they start to rot, you want to get them out of there. You don't want that rot to get all over all of your other tomatoes. And so you can leave them in this box, cover them with a towel. You can cover them with a towel and put them in the garage. And this is kind of a funny trick. Some of these tips and tricks, I get them from all over. Anywhere I can learn these tips and tricks. I like to learn them. I like to experiment it myself. But where I learned this one was actually from my grandpa. I remember when I was just a little kid, I went into his garage. It was the fall. I was like, I wonder what's under this towel. And he had 100 tomatoes under there. And he taught me about ripening them in the garage, ripening the tomatoes in the garage. And so this, put a towel over them, stick them in the garage, stick them somewhere that, even though the garage will get cold at night, it's not going to hit that bitter, bitter, bitter cold temperature that you're going to get from out here. And so use that method to ripen your tomatoes. So that is, if you're going to pick the tomatoes, that's how you ripen them. Now, one more thing you need to be aware of as you're ripening the tomatoes, make sure you pull off all of the stems, anything that can create a bruise. If that rolls up against another one and creates a bruise, you want to pull all that off. So any stems that are still on there, pull it off. Right here is a deep green, so that one is not ripe, and it probably won't ripen up, but this one here has already started the ripening process, and so that's going to ripen up really nicely for us. And then we're going to come in a separate box, we're going to put the deep, vibrant green. And one other way that you can tell is how firm they are. If they're really, really firm, then you know that they're not going to ripen. They're going to be that deep green. If they're not solid firm and they don't feel like an apple, then you know that they will ripen up. They've already started that process of ripening. Okay, so we have the 6-foot tall tomato plant, and I've shown you how to take your tomatoes off and ripen them in a box, in the garage, somewhere like that. Now I'm going to show you another way to ripen your tomatoes. And this way is where we actually take the whole plant off and we hang the plant in the garage. So it will still be vine ripened, but it will be in the garage, out of here. And so what you're going to do is you're going to pull the root up, knock as much dirt off as you can, or just cut it off, cut the stem off. But in this case, this is a 6-foot tall tomato plant. I'm actually going to take it in like this, cage and all, into the garage, and I'm just going to set the cage back up in the garage so that it can ripen in this position. The only thing is it's not going to have the root base. And what that will do is the tomato will still continue to pull nutrients from the plant, and it will ripen it on the vine. So this is a new way of doing it. I've experimented with it before, but this is a way that is actually a clever way to ripen your tomatoes. So it still pulls nutrients from the plant, and it's on the vine. You're still getting a vine ripened tomato. It's just in a different environment. It's not left out in the cold. So we will do that now. What I want to do is I want to show you, because this was the one we buried really deep, I want to show you how far down this root base goes. So I'm going to dig around the root so we can take a look at that. Look at that root. How many tomato plants do you know have a root that big? Now granted, I was actually pulling them away from the root here. There's even more fingers than that on that tomato plant, but look at that root. So here's the tomato plant. It's sitting on the concrete, standing up by itself. I'm going to move it into the garage. The nice thing is these big juicy tomatoes are going to ripen on the vine. Like I said, they're going to pull the remaining nutrients from the vine and put it into ripening themselves. So we're going to move that into the garage right now. Okay, so I'm going to leave the tomato in here so that it will ripen on the vine. This really is essentially the same thing that the giant miniature greenhouse is going to do. The garage gets 30-40 degrees warmer during the day, so that added heat will help accelerate the ripening process of the tomato plant.